Hey there, welcome back to the SEO Bootcamp by Moz Academy. This is the on-page optimization course, and in this lesson, we'll be talking about common page optimization elements, specifically the page title and meta description. So let's start off with that page title. The page title is an important factor, and it relates to two of the goals on our conversion path. The first one is the ranking. The page title is an extremely strong signal to the search engines as to what the page is about, and it's a very, very significant ranking factor, so it definitely impacts ranking. Also, because the page title shows up on the search engine results page, it can dramatically impact your click-through rate. The page title shows up as blue text on the search engine results page, and it can be an element to win the click. You know, a high rank might not always mean a click. So think of that page title as a sales pitch. It's just a taste of what you'll experience on the page. If you look at this is the search engine results page for the keyword, how much do dental implants cost? So we can take a look at the page titles and just kind of compare and contrast. This very first one up here at the top, it says, how much do dental implants cost? FAQs for implant dentistry. So that's my question right there. I know that if I click into that page, I'm probably going to get my question answered. Here at number 2, we see dental implant cost. What should you expect? So that gives me a pretty good idea that that's also going to answer my question. If I go down just a little bit, here I see dental implants, Aspen Dental. Kind of boring, generic, doesn't really tell me whether or not my specific question will be answered. Here we see FAQ, Dental Implant Center. Again, this is boring and it really isn't enough in a competitive environment. If I go down a little bit more, here I see Dental Implant Cost Guide. How much is the average price in 2017? It's got my keywords, dental implant cost, and it also has the word guide. So I can assume that this is going to be comprehensive and helpful in getting my questions answered. And it's very possible that the click-through rate on this result for dental implant cost guide could be higher than for this one that just says FAQ or dental implants. So you want to offer value propositions in the page title. Maybe answer questions, alleviate fears, things like that. So there are some best practices associated with page title. The first one is, of course, use your keyword in the title. Specifically, you want to try to use it at the beginning. So can you make a compelling value proposition with it at the beginning? So in this example that we see here, instead of what should you expect from dental implants and dental implant costs, they started with the keyword and then built the statement that way. Dental implants cost, what should you expect? So that's kind of a better practice, using that keyword at the beginning if it's possible and natural. Now, each page should target a different keyword and topic, so therefore they should each have a different title. If multiple pages target the same keyword and have the same titles, it's usually the page highest in the architecture that will typically rank and have more value. So just something to think about as well. Each title should be unique. The next practice is the title length. Titles should be between 55 and 60 characters. If you go over that length, it may show as a truncated title, as we're seeing on the screen here. So make sure that the value proposition is complete in the title that shows. It's not terrible to have your title cut off or truncated, but just make sure that you're using your keywords and your value proposition in those first 55 to 60 characters. Sometimes a truncated title can cause you to lose a little bit of trust with your user, so it can impact click-through a bit. Just something to think about. It can be difficult to create a compelling statement that's concise and uses the keyword. And last, as I said before, your page title is a sales pitch. It's what shows up on the search engine results page. So it's your opportunity to help your user understand the value of your page before they even click on it. Make it compelling. Answer questions. Use numbers. think about the value the searcher is seeking. If you look at this example, it says new teeth in 1 day, all on 4 dental implants. New teeth in 1 day, the idea of that is exciting. It's compelling. In this case, put yourself in your audience member's shoes. If they've been feeling self-conscious about their smile for a long time, the idea of new teeth in 1 day is a very intriguing and exciting idea. So be thinking about that when you're creating that page title. Let's move on to meta descriptions. Now, meta descriptions aren't really a ranking factor anymore. They used to be, but not so much anymore. However, they do help with your click-through rate because, again, they are what shows up on the search engine results page just below the URL. This is another opportunity to compel the user to click. So really look for value propositions. Sum up that copy in an intriguing and concise way. What does the audience want to get from this page? In this example, you're seeing the search engine results page for the keyword deep tissue massage. If you scroll down to this second to last result here, the meta description says, a study in the Journal of Alternative and Complementary Medicine found that people's blood pressure fell after a single 45 to 60 minute deep tissue massage. This is great. This provides a fact, a definite statement, something compelling and interesting, and even gives the resource. So if I know I click into that, I'm getting researched content and something that's going to provide some definite facts. So look at what's ranking, look at the value props, think about making comparisons in your meta description, maybe providing some specific information, numbers, prices, etc. And of course, there's some best practices associated with your meta description. Now, even though the meta description is not a ranking factor, you'll still want to use the keyword in your meta description, preferably towards the beginning. But if you can't use the keyword towards the beginning in a natural way, then don't. It's okay. You also don't necessarily need to use slight variations of your keyword multiple times in your meta description. Again, this meta description, this is not for the search engines. This is for human eyes. So make it easily readable and don't do any kind of keyword stuffing. That's not going to do you any good for ranking. Now, the length of your meta description is actually something that's kind of a hot debate these days. It's been changing quite a bit in the last few months. In the past, we would always say keep your meta description between 150 to 160 characters. Then in November of 2017, we saw meta descriptions increase to 300 characters. Then in May of 2018, we saw those meta descriptions go back down to 160 characters. So those changes back and forth can be a little bit confusing. My recommendation is to create a meta description that's about 160 characters, that's a complete thought, and if you can add more to be useful and valuable, go ahead and extend the length up to 300 characters, but just make sure that there's a complete thought within the first 160 characters. Don't artificially limit your meta descriptions and make them extremely short, but also don't pad out your meta descriptions to 300 characters just to cash in on the possibility of more characters. Keep it valuable and concise, and really summarize what the user can expect by clicking through to your page. If you leave it blank, a lot of times the search engines will extract text from your page. Make sure your meta description aligns to the content. So write your content first and then work backwards. Then write your meta description that summarizes the content. Provide a clear sense of what the content will be. Now, call to actions can sometimes work, but it really varies by industry. You'll want to be thinking about what phase in the sales funnel is the audience for this keyword? Are they in a research phase? Are they in a high conversion phase? Where are they? I really like to see prices or enticing words or statistics in a meta description. I especially like prices if the keyword is price related. So in this example that you're seeing on the screen, maybe we optimized this page for cheap beach weddings or affordable beach weddings. And you'll notice in the meta description, I'm seeing the price of $395. I'm also seeing a couple of things that $395 includes. It includes the officiant, a decorated table, a couple of other things. So again, put yourself in your audience member's shoes. If they're looking for a cheap beach wedding or an affordable beach wedding, sometimes the word cheap or affordable can be subjective. And so cheap to some might mean a $5,000 wedding, whereas cheap to others might be closer to under $500. So now I know as the user, if I click in to that result, I'm going to see wedding packages starting at $395, which is a relief if price is a major conversion factor for me. So this is just kind of a really good example of making the keyword intent really work for you in the meta description. However, don't oversell or lie or overpromise in the meta description just to increase your click-through rate. That's considered clickbait and you can be penalized. Also, if you're going to be changing your page titles and meta descriptions, if you're working on them, trying to modify them, improve them, edit them, do it outside of your content management system. Do it in a spreadsheet where you can make your changes and tweak the titles and meta descriptions without confusing the search engines. Now, we've talked about title and meta description, so let's talk a little bit about a little trick that you can implement with the title and meta description. So Google wants you to stay on Google. They want to keep visitors from leaving the search engine results page. That's how they sell ads. If you'll notice, featured snippets are appearing more and more on the search engine results pages, and those featured snippets take other sites' content and give you the answer right there on Google so that you don't ever have to click through. Now, for those of us who work in SEO or digital marketing, this isn't great. This isn't the best scenario. However, we need to be thinking about Google's goals and work with that rather than against it. So with that logic, Moz did a little testing. Now, Moz has a metric called search visibility in the tool, and people often Google search visibility definition, or they ask, what is search visibility? It's a complicated metric, and so we find that a lot of people ask that question. So Moz has a page targeting this particular topic. Here's a real-life example of how Moz changed their title and meta description to increase the click-through rate. This is our page targeting the topic of search visibility. Our page title before said, Guide to Search Visibility in Moz Pro Rankings, Moz. And the meta description said, learn all about search visibility, what it means, how it's calculated, and how you can improve it with Moz Pro. After it was changed to what is search visibility, and then the meta description says the search visibility score is the percentage of clicks we estimate you receive based on your organic ranking across all keywords you're tracking, and then it's truncated. So basically, Moz replicated a featured snippet in the title and meta description. The page title is a question. The meta description starts to answer the question. After that was done, the click-through rate increased. Now, there's, some theory as to why the click-through rate increased. It's hard to say exactly. Perhaps this change of asking the exact question and starting to answer it might have gained the trust of users that when they click through, they're going to get the exact answer rather than a long, complicated guide. So that could be one reason. There's a variety of reasons that click-through rate increased. And this example is, of course, not relevant to every single page on your website, but it's a good example of how a unique and effective title and meta description can increase your click-through rate. So those are some best practices along with a trick for page titles and meta descriptions. Thank you.